Hello everyone. I'm making this video for my students at Notre Dame of Marbelle University because your midterm examination is fast approaching and we only have two meetings left, if I'm not mistaken, and we still have to cover a lot of things before your midterm examination. So I prepared this video so that we can cover more. And the good thing about making this video is that if you did not understand, you can just play it back. Or if ever mabilis ako magsalita, you can just adjust the playback speed. So let's start. Now in the previous class or meeting, we've already discussed Article 1189. And we mentioned that Article 1189 only applies to suspensive condition and when the thing is determinate or specific. Here in Article 1190, it applies only to a resolutory condition. And we already know the difference between a resolutory condition and a suspensive condition. Now, what are the different effects when the resolutory condition is fulfilled? Because Article 1190 only refers to resolutory condition. So number one is the obligation is extinguished. So mawawala na yung obligation. This is an example of a resolutory condition. A gave B a parcel of land on the condition that B will never go to the casino. Now a month later, B went to the casino. Now what happens to A's obligation? This is an example of a resolutory condition because the obligation is immediately demandable. Take note of the three instances when the obligation is demandable at once. Number one is when it's a pure obligation. Number two is when it refers to a resolutory condition. And number three, when it refers to a resolutory period. So this is an example of a resolutory condition. And because it is a resolutory condition, it is demandable at once. Now dito, B went to the casino. The condition is not to go to the casino. So it's a negative condition. Pero B went to the casino. So what happens to A's obligation? So the answer is A's obligation is extinguished because that is one of the effects of the fulfillment of a resolutory condition. Now number two, because the obligation had been extinguished and considered to have had no effect, the parties should restore to each other what they have received. Yung parties, ibabalik nila kung ano yung natanggap nila kapag na-extinguish na ang obligation. So for example, dito, same example, since ginawa ni B yung ipinagbabawal, the obligation to give the parcel of land is extinguished. Ibabalik ngayon ni B yung parcel of land. Number three, aside from the actual things received, the fruits or the interests thereon shall also be returned, after deducting, of course, the expenses made for their production, gathering, and preservation. Ibabalik ngayon yung fruits and interest kung meron man. Same example pa rin, kapag na-extinguish yung obligation, si B will have to return the land. And what's more, B will also have to return the fruits he had received from the moment A had given him the land. So what are the different kinds of fruits? Don't forget, we have the natural fruits, we have the civil fruits, and we have the industrial fruits. Number four, the rules given in Article 1189 will apply to whoever has the duty to return in case of loss, deterioration, or improvement of the thing. Don't forget yung mga rules with respect to kung merong loss, kung merong deterioration, at kung merong improvement under 1189. Kasi you would have to apply that din dito sa Article 1190. So let's recap. Let's remember what are those rules. So when it comes to loss, if there is fault of the debtor, then the debtor is obliged to pay damages. If the thing is lost without the fault of the debtor naman, then the obligation shall be extinguished. Now what about when it comes to deterioration? Kapag merong deterioration and it is without the fault of the debtor, the impairment is to be borne by the creditor. So wala siyang magagawa, tanggapin niya lang talaga yung object or thing along with its deterioration. Letter B, if the deterioration is through the fault of the debtor naman, kasalanan ng debtor, then that's the time that the creditor will have to choose between rescission plus damages. Pag sinabing rescission, i-resolve niya na, baliwalain na yung kontrata, pero makaka-claim pa din siya ng damages, or he can claim for its fulfillment. So tanggapin niya na lang yung object na yon or yung thing na yon na may deterioration dahil sa kasalanan ng debtor, pero kailangan pa rin ng debtor mag-indemnify for damages. How about the rules when it comes to improvement? Kapag tumaas yung value ng thing, depende. Kapag tumaas yung value niya because of its nature or by time, yung pagtaas ng value, it will inure to the benefit of the creditor. So, yung creditor ang makikinabang. Kapag tumaas naman yung value dahil sa kagagawa ng debtor, meron siyang mga nagasto, then the debtor shall have no other right than that granted to the usufructuary. So, tandaan niyo na yung rights ng usufructuary. For example, A gave B a parcel of land on the condition that B will never go to the casino. A month later, B went to the casino. So, same example pa rin. Ginawa niya yung pinagbabawal sa kanya, the obligation is extinguished. Suppose in the meantime, the land had been improved. Kumbaga, tumaas yung value ng land because of its nature and or because of time. Who benefits from such improvements? So, tandaan dito, na although from the very beginning, si A yung merong obligation, at the end naman, because of the fulfillment of the resolutory condition, si B ngayon ang magiging debtor and si A ang creditor. Since si A ang creditor, siya ngayon ang magbe-benefit sa improvement by reason of its nature or by reason of time. A gets the benefit because he is now the creditor with respect to the recovery of the land. Next is, in obligations to do or not to do, courts are given power to determine the retroactivity of the fulfillment of resolutory conditions. So in other words, when it comes to obligations to do or not to do we have positive personal obligation, not to do we have negative personal obligation. There is no fixed rule when it comes to the retroactive effect. 'Di ba pagdating sa real obligation or obligation to give, meron yung the rule on retroactivity. Pero pagdating naman dito sa personal obligation, whether positive personal or negative personal, walang retroactive effect. So there's no fixed rule. So it is up to the court to determine ang retroactive effect niya. Example, on January 5, 2023, Janela obliged herself to call quits the death of Angelo if Angelo will travel to Manila on December 22, 2023. So ang condition dito is si Angelo mag-travel sa Manila on December 22, 2023. And if this condition will be fulfilled, Janela will condone the death of Angelo. So dito, it is apparent na the intention of the party, the intention of Janela, is to condone the death of Angelo. So meron retroactive effect. But again, there is no fixed rule. Pero based sa intention nila, malinaw na ang gustong i-condone ni Janela yung death ni Angelo. For example, Mario will give 10,000 pesos monthly allowance to Faye starting this month until she graduates from college within 2 years. So don't forget, Article 1190 applies to resolutory condition. So ito, resolutory condition kasi it is demandable at once. Si Mario will give 10,000 pesos monthly allowance to Faye starting this month until she graduates from college within 2 years. Should Faye return the money given to her upon the happening of the resolutory condition? And sinabi natin mayroong retroactive effect and that yung mga natanggap is ibabalik. Should that be applied dito sa example na to? Of course not. Because again, it is clearly the intention of Mario to give the money to Faye. So Faye no longer needs to return the sum of the monthly allowance that she received. Another example, A gave B a parcel of land on the condition that B will never go to the casino. So dito, it refers to the obligation to give or real obligation. Sinabi natin na pag obligation to give or real obligation, merong retroactive effect. Kaya ibabalik niya ngayon yung mga natanggap niya. Let's go to Article 1191. Now, 1191 refers to the power to rescind. This article refers to the creditor's right to rescind or resolve the contract. Sino creditor? Siya yung injured party. Siya yung na-violate yung right niya. Meron siyang two options, no? The right to rescind or resolve or the right to have the obligation fulfilled or fulfillment. Rescission plus damages or fulfillment plus damages. Now, take note that there are limitations on the right to rescind or resolve. What is the first limitation? It exists only in reciprocal obligations. So itong Article 1191, it applies only to reciprocal obligations. Now, what is reciprocal obligation? Now, let's go back to the different kinds of obligation. We have unilateral or bilateral obligation. Now, what is a unilateral obligation? A unilateral obligation exists when only one party is obliged to comply with a prestation. So dito, sa unilateral obligation, isang tao lang ang merong obligasyon. Like for example, Jessa will donate a parcel of land to Hart. This is an example of a contract of donation. Ibibigay ni Jessa yung land niya kay Hart. So sa example na to, there's only one obligation. And that of the obligation of Jessa to give the land to Hart. Dito si Hart wala nang obligasyon. Kaya tinatawag na unilateral obligation because only one party has the obligation. The other one is a bilateral obligation. Dito, both parties are mutually bound to each other. Both parties have the obligation. Example, we have the contract of sale. Dito, Yasmin will sell her car to John and John will pay 300,000 pesos. There are two obligations here. The obligation of Yasmin to sell her car and the obligation of John to pay 300,000 pesos. Kaya nga tinatawag na bi or two. There are two obligations. In bilateral obligation, there are two kinds. We have reciprocal and non-reciprocal. When we say reciprocal, the obligations arise from the same cause or the same contract. Each party is a creditor or debtor to each other. Mga parties na yon, pareho silang creditor and debtor to each other. Sa isang obligation, ang isang party debtor. Sa another obligation, ang isang party ay creditor. Tatandaan nyo lang sa reciprocal obligation, they arise from the same cause. Iisa lang ang kontrata. Whereas dito sa non-reciprocal, the performance of one party is not dependent on the simultaneous performance by the other kasi magkaibang kontrata sila. Yung obligation ng isang party ay based sa isang contract while yung obligation ng isang party is based on another contract. For example, sa reciprocal obligation, still in the contract of sale, Yasmin will sell her car to John and John will pay 300,000 pesos. Both Yasmin and John's obligations are based on a single contract, on the same contract, and that is the contract of sale. Pero dito sa non-reciprocal obligation, merong dalawang kontrata. For example, Earl borrowed from Anna 100,000 pesos. This is an example of a contract of loan or mutuum, while Anna borrowed the truck of Earl for Anna's business. Sa second naman is a different kind of contract. And this is a contract of comodatum. Magkaiba yung kontrata nila. The obligation of Earl is based on a contract of loan or mutuum, while the obligation of Anna is based on a contract of comodatum. So magkaiba yung kontrata. Unlike dito sa reciprocal obligation, it is only based on the same contract. Take note, Article 1191 applies only to reciprocal obligations. So ang Article 1191, it will apply only to a bilateral reciprocal obligation. Dapat yung obligations na yon, they arise from the same cause or contract. Pag non-reciprocal, hindi siya mag-a-apply kasi magkaiba yung kontrata nila. Article 1191 applies only to reciprocal obligations. This article, in speaking of reciprocal ones, refers only to reciprocal obligations. That is, to obligations where two parties are reciprocally obliged to do or give something, just like the contract of sale. It is not enough that both parties are indebted to each other. The cost must be identical and the obligations should arise simultaneously. For example, A borrowed 1 million pesos from B as a loan. Nag-utang si A ng 1 million pesos kay B. A, on the other hand, is the owner of a garage where B deposits for safekeeping his car. B owes A 1 million pesos for deposit fees. May utang si A na 1 million pesos kay B. Pero dito naman, may utang si B na 1 million pesos kay A for deposit fees. Is this a reciprocal obligation? Are they based on the same contract? Their obligations, the obligation of A and the obligation of B? Of course, the answer is no. Why? Because although they are mutually bound, kasi bound si A na bayaran si B and bound si B na bayaran si A, the cost does not arise from the same contract. So magkaiba yung kontrata. Yung obligation ni A is based on the contract of loan, sa hiniram niya na pera, while the obligation of B is based on the contract of deposit. Tandaan, 1191 only applies to reciprocal bilateral obligations. Under the second paragraph of 1191, malinaw na the injured party has the option, either fulfillment or rescission. So the injured party may choose between fulfillment plus damages and then rescission plus damages. Always merong damages kasi again, a party who is liable for a breach of contract is always liable for the payment of damages. Now, take note that the right is alternative. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mong pumili ng isa lang. Hindi mo pwedeng pagsabayin ang dalawa. Why? Because they are diametrically opposed to each other. Hindi pwedeng mag-ask ka ng fulfillment and mag-ask ng rescission at the same time kasi magkaiba sila. Yung isa, gusto mong mag-push through yung contract while yung isa, ayaw mo na sa kontrata. For example, a lease contract for 25 years at 10K a month was complied with for only 5 years. After which the lessee did not pay rent. After 5 years, si lessee hindi na siya nagbabayad ng rent. Si lessor ngayon, yung may-ari, demanded that the lessee vacate the premises. Sabi niya, umalis ka na dito kasi hindi ka na nagbabayad ng rent. The lessee then surrendered the property to the lessor. Umalis na ngayon si lessee at sinurrender niya na yung property kay lessor. Now, the lessor demands rent for the remaining 20 years. Sinabi ni lessor, 25 years pa yung kontrata natin. 5 years ka lang nagbayad, meron ka pang 20 years. So, kailangan mong bayaran yung rent for 20 years. The question is, can the lessor make that demand? Pwede ba siyang mag-demand ng rent for the remaining 20 years? The answer is no more. Kasi nga, the lessor decided to select rescission. And pag sinabing rescission, na-resolve na yung contract. Mababaliwala na yung contract. He is now entitled to possession. And since pinili niya ang rescission, he can no longer choose fulfillment. Kasi magkaiba yung dalawa. So ano ba talaga? Ipagpapatuloy yung kontrata or stop na? And since pinili mong mag-stop na yung contract, you can no longer choose fulfillment. So he cannot have both remedies of rescission and specific performance. In a contract of sale, the buyer can rescind if the seller does not deliver, or the seller can rescind if the buyer does not pay. This is all right, for this is a reciprocal obligation. Another example, A sold to B some properties. It was agreed that B, the buyer, should take care of perfecting within 6 months the title papers to the property. This duty B was not able to do. So si A nagpabili ng mga properties kay B. It was agreed that B, the buyer, should take care of perfecting within 6 months the title papers to the property. Si B yung mag-process ng mga papers, pero tapos niya nang nabenta kay B yung mga properties. And tapos na rin nabayaran ni B si A. May kasunduan pa sila na dapat si B mag-process ng mga papers, pero hindi ito natupad ni B. Despite the fact that B has already paid the price, may A, the seller, rescind the contract on the ground that B had not complied with the obligation referred to above? So, merong bang right si A na i-rescind ang contract? In order to answer this question, we have to ask ourselves, whether this is an example of a reciprocal bilateral obligation. And are the obligations coming from the same cause or contract? Meron bang iisang contract dito? So the answer is no. The seller can no longer rescind the contract. Bakit? Magkaiba po yung kontrata. Yung contract of sale, tapos na. A sold to B some properties na pabili niya na and si B nagbayad na rin. Diba malinaw? B has already paid the price. Yung obligation naman ni B to process the papers, it is based on another agreement. Ibang agreement yon. Therefore, the seller cannot resolve just because the title papers had not yet been perfected. Had the buyer not yet paid, it would have been a different story. Next, another limitation, it can be demanded only if the plaintiff is ready, willing, and able to comply with his own obligation and the other is not. Like for example, dito sa contract of sale. Kapag ready nang i-deliver ni Yasmin yung car and si John, hindi pa siya makapagbayad ng 300,000 pesos, that is the time when Yasmin can demand either for rescission or fulfillment of the contract. Pero kapag hindi ready si Jasmine na ibigay yung car, wala siyang right to demand rescission or to demand fulfillment of the contract. Another limitation, trivial causes or slight breaches will not cause rescission. So dahil lamang merong breach ay hindi agad-agad na makapag-choose si injured party whether to ask for rescission or fulfillment. Why? Because pagdating sa breach, dapat hindi lang ito slight or trivial. Dapat ang breach must be substantial. Like for example, hindi natupad ni debtor na i-deliver yung car within the day. Na-deliver niya yung car the next day. So merong delay pero 1 day lang naman. So it was a short delay. Pag merong short delay, the breach is only slight. Hindi siya substantial. So hindi siya makapag-exercise ng right niya to rescind kasi yung breach naman ay hindi substantial, slight lang. Next limitation is no rescission if the property is now in the hands of an innocent third party who has lawful possession of the same. In other words, yung property is nasa kamay na ng ibang tao. Example, si Efren, bumili siya ng 20 units of aircon kay Pagulayan. Nag-promise siya na babayaran niya ito pagkahapon, pero hindi niya nabayaran ito. Ngayon, si Efren, pinabili niya kay Shane yung 20 units of aircon kahit hindi niya pa nababayaran si Pagulayan. Si Shane walang kinalaman sa transaction ni Efren at ni Pagulayan at hindi alam ni Shane na hindi pa nakapagbayad si Efren kay Pagulayan. Ang pagkakaalam ni Shane, si Efren ang may-ari ng 20 units of aircon na pinabili sa kanya. In this example, Shane is an innocent purchaser for value. Pagulayan now sues for the recovery of the cartons of the units of aircon from Shane. Pagulayan chose to exercise his right of rescission. Question, can Pagulayan sue Shane for the recovery of the 20 units of aircon? Pwede niya bang kasuhan si Shane? So the answer is no. Pagulayan cannot recover from Shane kasi si Shane is an innocent purchaser for value. His only right would be to proceed against Efren. Ang pwede niya lang kasuhan ay si Efren. For the law subordinates the right of rescission to the right of innocent third persons. May karapatan na si Shane sa 20 units of aircon kasi isa siyang innocent purchaser for value. Ang right na lang ni Pagulayan is to run after Efren and not Shane. Take note of this rule. The right to rescind needs judicial approval in certain cases, and in others does not need such approval. In other words, kailangan mong mag-file ng case. If you want to exercise your right to rescind, kailangan mag-file ka ng complaint before the courts of justice. The right to rescind needs judicial approval. In order to rescind the contract, kailangan mo nang mag-file ng case sa court. Kailan ba kailangan mag-file ng case at kailan ba hindi na kailangan na mag-file ng case? Number 1, judicial approval is needed when there has already been delivery. Kailangan mo mag-file ng case kung merong delivery, kapag na-deliver mo na yung object. Kapag hindi mo pa na-deliver yung object, hindi mo na kailangan ng mag-file ng case. Meron ng tinatawag na automatic rescission. So, mababaliwala na or mareresolve na yung contract kapag there's no delivery yet. Kasi total, hindi mo na pa naman na-deliver, hindi mo na kailangan mag-push through doon sa agreement ninyo. Kailangan mo lang mag-file ng case sa court for rescission kapag na-deliver mo yung object kasi hindi mo pwedeng bawiin yun sa kamay ng debtor kasi you cannot put the law into your own hands. Your recourse would be to file a case. Example, Jack sold his car today to May for 900,000 pesos with the stipulation that May gives Jack the payment at the front gate of NDMU the next day. Yesterday, nag-deliver na si Jack ng car and the promise was that May will pay the 900,000 pesos this day at the front gate of NDMU. Pero hindi nakapagbayad si May on this day. Now the question is, does Jack need to file a case before the court for the rescission of the contract? The answer is yes. Bakit? Kasi meron ng delivery. Na-deliver niya na yung car. Hindi niya pwedeng bawiin yung car kay May kasi he cannot put the law into his own hands. His option would be to file a case for rescission kasi nga meron ng delivery dito. And sinabi natin, judicial approval is needed when there has already been delivery of the object. Now, how about Article 1192? Under 1192, it discusses the different rules in case of breach by both parties. So sa first rule, kapag kilala kung sino yung first infractor, the liability of the first infractor shall be equitably tempered by the court. So in these two instances, both parties are liable for breach. Pareho silang nag-breach ng contract. Pero sa first one, may naunang nag-breach. Merong naunang infractor. Since kilala natin kung sino yung nauna, ang magiging liable is, of course, yung first infractor. Pero yung liability niya, pwedeng matemper, pwedeng babaan. So kung ang liability niya is 100,000 pesos, pwede siyang babaan ng court. Pwedeng gawing 70,000, 60,000 na lang. Sa second naman, hindi natin mapinpoint. We cannot determine who is the first infractor. Although dalawa sila may liability for breach, hindi natin masabi kung sino sa dalawa yung nauna. And since hindi natin masabi kung sino sa dalawa, the contract shall be deemed extinguished. Mababaliwala yung contract and each shall bear his own damage.